Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, I'm the host that just crawled out of the TV like that ring girl, Joe Wakefield.
I saint it. I'm Ryan Lang.
Hey, guys. So, for those of you joining us for the first time,
Hi.
you might be asking, hello, of course. You might be asking yourself, what do we do here at Earthling Entertainment? Huh? What is this podcast all about?
What?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what it's all about. What we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. Sometimes it's cryptozoology. Other times it's hauntings or a legend or a myth or a curse. But it's always spooky.
Oh my god.
That, of course, is followed by our second segment, which is called Disclosure Discussion. It's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions, UFO stories, UFO photos, videos, anything that's come out. We got a good one today. For sure.
Excellent. And then the second part of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment.
Woo.
Sometimes we have celebrity deaths or movie news. Other times we talk about video games or music, and we have celebrity guests, and we have trivia games, and we have audio dramas, but it's all entertainment all the time.
Yes.
And then those two pieces together, our beginning, our spooky, our second half, our pop culture, come together to create the delicious moon pie of a podcast known as Earthling Entertainment. Welcome.
Welcome indeed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. So if you like what you hear today, please download the episode. It's the easiest way to support the show. And if you want a bumper sticker, just email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. That's where to do it. They're pretty, good stickers. And we just want to see people representing the podcast around, and they look cool.
It is always nice when you come across one that you didn't put out there, and you're
Yes.
just like, nice. I mean, we're not saying go graffiti, but if you do, we might spot it.
Yeah,
just
we
saying.
just might.
So this weekend was Motor City Comic Con. They do 2 a year. They do one in the fall, one in the spring. This was the fall one, and it was a lot of fun. I got to go see John Cleese.
Nice.
Yeah, you know Monty Python?
Oh, of course I do.
Come on, Ryan. What was your favorite Monty Python?
I think with him was definitely the parrot scene. He was the one, right? He was the one who came in like, "Hello, I wish to register a complaint about this parrot I bought an hour ago from this very boutique." It's like, "Oh yes, the Norwegian blue. What's wrong with it? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's dead. That's what's wrong with it." Like,
that whole scene, yeah.
Like, oh my god! Like I could do the whole thing. It's like, this parrot is no more. It has ceased to be. It's expired and gone to meet its maker. It's a stiff bereft of life. It rests in peace. If you hadn't nailed it to the perch, you'd be pushing up the daisies. This is an ex-parrot.
Well done. So yes, you are well versed. Clearly,
Yes.
I mean, most people know Monty Python, the Holy Grail, the film. The Life of Brian is also a good one.
He was Sir Lancelot, I believe, in Monty Python Holy Grail. And then there's, of course, just Flying Circus had so many great bits with him, like the Ministry of Silly Walks. Everybody knows that's John
Yeah,
Cleese.
that is definitely a classic. Just based on the commercials of them selling the VHS and seeing those silly walks as a little kid, I would go around doing the silly walks.
Oh yeah.
It had influence before I even actually saw it.
Yep. No, I remember us doing it in high school, I believe. It was I was super into Monty Python when I was in high school.
Well, you had them all. Was it like the I don't know if it was VHS or DVD, but you got
DVD.
You got them all in the mail, right?
It was I believe it was a gift for when I got my Eagle Scout. Like when you get your Eagle Scout, sometimes people in the troop and stuff would get you something. So the one dude who probably
because that's the highest honor in Boy Scouts, correct?
I mean, yeah, that's what they say, right? Like, yeah, Eagle Scout.
It makes sense. You give a gift for that.
Yep. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool. And then, of course, later on, he did Faulty Towers. It was, very short-lived series, but it wasn't short-lived, actually. It was just British. A lot of British shows have, very low episode count. So that was cool. And then, we can keep going, man. I remember when he popped up in Rat Race. I was in like high school. It was like 2001 or something like that. Good stuff. We could have seen a few people. So for me, because there's a lot of celebrities there, for me, it was between three people. It was Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger,
Yeah.
which would be the obvious choice. I'll explain why we didn't do that in a sec. And then we had Sulu, George Takei, and we had John Cleese. And there was other celebrities, but the reason why it was down to those three is because my buddy Luke was in town from Colorado. He does all the post audio for the Tattered Tales stuff. We worked together on a lot of things. He worked on Bunkmates. He was a producer on Fuzz Malloy, the show. So, a lot of things we've worked together with. But anyways, he was in town and he loves Star Trek. So I was like, okay, Sulu. My wife's family really loves John Cleese as well as I do, because A Fish Called Wanda is like one of their family favorite films. And then for me, I was like, okay, and then I'll do Freddy Krueger and we'll see what makes sense. Well, Robert Englund was a little too much. It was $150 for a photo, which isn't unheard of. It's not like he was being a dick about it. It was just that's the headliner of the show.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we're like, all right, maybe not. And then also it was kind of, I don't want to be morbid, but George Takei and John Cleese are not going to be around for as long as Robert Englund. I mean, they're both in their 80s.
That's true. And but no, I'm what an honor. That's awesome. You've gotten to meet a lot of cool people. Like I'm looking at Joe's wall here. He's got a ton of celebrities that he's taken, and yes, he puts them all up.
I do. I hang them. Eventually, I'll have to get a photo album. It's funny though because it's like I hold it in very different regard of what I've met someone on set or working with them, or if I've met somebody at a con. And the funny thing is when they cross over, like Doug Jones, I've met in person working with, and then later on met him at a con, and he's like, "Wait a minute," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I don't know if he actually remembered me, but it seemed like he did. It was a fun interaction.
Yeah. No, it sounded like he did.
Yeah.
I'll bet he did. That's cool that you were able to go to a con. I wasn't able to go to that one. Was there anybody else there?
John Cusack. I'm not sure why John Cusack was there.
Awesome.
But for some reason, because you get to request, like they take requests of like, what celebrity should we reach out to and get?
John Cusack's the man. I fucking love John. Dude.
Oh, Hot Tub Time Machine, 1408.
1408.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that freaking movie so freaking much.
And then the generation before us, it would love him for all his teen movie stuff in the 80s. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. He was
in Con Air, bud.
That's right. He was the good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's right. And I love that movie. Like that movie's amazing. Put the bunny back in the box.
But yeah, there's a lot of really good performances. Steve Buscemi in Con Air. We have, obviously Nicolas Cage did a great job. And then what was it? John Malkovich did a really good one.
Yes. And
another thing John Malkovich and John Cusack worked together on, being John Malkovich.
Yes. But it's killing me. Who was like the super evil guy, but he's like the funny, skinny guy.
Steve Buscemi, man.
Steve Buscemi was like the big evil dude. Got the whole world in his hands, and everyone's like, "Would you shut up?"
It's funny as hell because in that movie, they're basically like, he is a monster. I don't remember what they said, but it was like he eats faces. Like he is the worst, darkest person. But we only ever see him as just like this chill, kind of like happy-go-lucky, creepy guy. And you're thinking like, man, when that switch gets turned, I bet he goes insane.
I love that this turn got switched to Con Air. From John Cusack because he was in it. But
to be fair, it was from John Cleese to Con Air.
That's true. Yeah, we did a bit of a walk there.
Yeah, that's what we do in this show.
I wonder how much it was for John Cusack for a photo. See, like I
didn't look it up. I don't know.
I've done a couple like photos. Like I think I did a photo with the Creeper from Cheaper Creeper. I did because I think it was cheap. I did a photo with like Cap Spaulding.
Oh, yeah,
before he passed away, Sid Haig. So that was cool.
I mean, it basically depends on the show and it depends on the celebrity. Like some smaller places aren't going to charge as much. But in my experience, you're usually on the very, very low end going to spend at least $40 or $50 on like on your phone photo with them. And then if you want like a professional photo, they're usually like 80 to... The highest I ever saw was like 200 or 300, but that was like for an unbelievably popular person at the time, like David Harbour at the top of Stranger Things or something.
Yeah.
Or Stan Lee. I don't remember, but the only time I saw something that high, it was for a pretty high profile person.
Yeah. But no, it's worth it. And I forgot I did meet Dee Snider a horror con because he was there because he did that movie. God, I can't even remember.
Strange World.
That was it. Strange Land.
Strangeland, yeah.
Yeah.
Dee Snider for Twisted Sister, the lead singer, yeah.
And I remember I had just gotten my Frankenstein tattoo on my left arm. I had just gotten it. And we were in the middle of talking, like he was talking to my ex-wife. And he, in the middle of his sentence, just looked over and went, "Oh man, I gotta say something. That tattoo is fucking sweet, man." I'm just like, oh, like,
thank you.
Dee Snider complimented my tattoo.
Which tattoo?
Frank.
Of the Frankenstein, yeah. Because you got it's a very, very well done classic Frankenstein face, and it's got like a nebula in the background, very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I believe it's called like the Mystic Mountain Nebula or something like that. It's from the Carina Nebula.
Any chance you know the name of the artist? Do you want to throw up a shout out?
I was gonna say Johnny Andres. I believe he's at Dark Sky Tattoos right now. Don't quote me on that because he did when I got it done. He was at North Main. And I know he's moved. But it's Johnny Andres. You can find his work out there. He's from Michigan.
Well, fantastic. All right, guys. So with that, we're gonna jump into our first segment. So we haven't done a straight up cryptid in a while. So we're really happy to bring this one to you. Ryan actually tracked down the information for this one. So here is this week's spooky stuff.
The Ahul. Comprising of over 3,000 islands, Indonesia is one of the least explored areas in the world, and scientists have calculated that thousands of undiscovered animals and perhaps cryptids are residing there. The Ahul is said to be a bat-like creature. It has been seen squatting on the forest floor, at which times
taking a poop. Sorry.
Its wings are closed. He's like, privacy, please.
Yeah, no, but I get what you're saying. Like he's doing that classic bat perch where he's like giving himself a hug with his wings.
But instead of like hanging upside down, he's just kind of in the. That's freaky.
That'd be creepier.
Yeah.
If you walk up and you see this like giant bat just kind of cocooning himself, be like, don't wake him up,
dude. That would be cool for like there should be like a cryptids video game. Where like there's just like so many cryptids and like you gotta it's almost like when you stumble upon the witch in Left 4 Dead.
Oh, yeah. It wakes up. And so that is a reference to a villain in that game where basically you could trigger it and it just goes berserk on you.
And it sucked.
Yeah. But in real life, you don't have extra guys. So I imagine a giant bat creature could rip you up pretty quickly.
Oh, I imagine, and I think it does say that. So it says, so with its wings closed and pressed against the Ahul's body, its feet appearing to point backwards. It is thought that the Ahul is a nocturnal creature, spending its days concealed in caves located behind or beneath waterfalls. Its nights spent skimming across forests in search of bugs and fish upon which it feeds.
Nom 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 bugfish.
The Ahul, or sometimes called the Athul, is a winged cryptid. Some portray the creature as a giant bat, while others claim it is a flying primate.
Okay, to be fair, isn't that splitting hairs? Because primates, bats, we're all mammals. Yeah. So if you're just like that could just be a bat without like the traditional ears, and I don't know.
But I think they're kind of saying it kind of has like the human-esque,
the more body. Anthropomorphic body.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Like
okay,
almost like.
Because otherwise, I really feel like we were splitting hairs. But okay, yeah.
A little bit. But I mean, could you imagine? Sometimes primates like to throw their poop. So now you've got this. So now you've got a flying primate that could just like I
would like to.
Like, oh my god!
I'd like to point out that is not in there, but boy, would that be a funny thing.
Just saying.
But it soars above you and just drops dookie bombs.
Like no. Fucking
damn you, Ahul! Back to what it actually does.
The name Ahul comes from its loud, distinct cry. Ahul!
Yeah, that tracks. It's like a Pokemon. I get it.
Right.
It says its name. It's fine.
This isn't a cryptid. This is a Pokemon.
We figured it out, guys. We've solved it.
It is said to live in the deepest parts of the jungles of Java and can be found across most of Indonesia. Subspecies can be found on the nearby island of New Guinea in the form of the ropen, a presumed cousin to the ahul. The ropen has a long snout, large wings, and a long, thin crest. And the ahul, though, has a distinct face and has features of both a chimpanzee's and a bat's. Large dark eyes, is covered in a gray fur, red-skinned wings, large claws on its forearms, and has been known to mutilate people with those claws.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, this kind of sounds like, they're both dogs, except this one's a pug and this one's a Saint Bernard. Like because that's kind of the thing, right? They're both bat creatures, and obviously not dogs. But I'm just saying, but they have distinct differences.
Mhm.
Kind of like we had, what was it? We have the Yeti, we have Bigfoot, we have the Yowie,
Exactly.
you
And
know,
I like that
the
they included
skunk
that.
ape. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this was a hell of a rabbit hole. There's so many cryptids.
Of this giant bat creature.
There's so many different cryptids in Indonesia. Like I said, over 3,000 islands, undiscovered.
That's crazy. We should change our lives, bud. We will go Indiana Jones.
That's it.
Are you more of an anthropologist, man, or more of a archaeologist? Do you want to find old shit that was buried from years ago, or you want to study the culture? Which one you want? Your culture or old shit?
I would lean towards old shit, but
All
if
right.
I could add a third option, habitats, creatures, stuff like that.
Sure. We'll
like
go
zoology,
Yeah, we'll go with
like-
something like that. Because I don't think there's an actual. Can you get a degree in cryptozoology? Because
I think you can actually.
Because it's a fringe science, right? Like there's people who don't even recognize it as a real field. So is there any place out there that actually has a degree for it?
I want to say yes. I want to say that you could probably get one.
I think we need to look it up, but that is a fascinating thought. Continue.
Okay. It has been claimed that this horrifying creature abducts babies, taking them back to their lair. It is said to have a wingspan of 18 to 28 feet, or 6 to 9 meters. That is 3 to 4.5 times the size of the largest bat known to man, the flying fox.
That's a huge bat.
Although,
that get you?
the nice reference to Deuce Bigelow there. Very nice. Although it mainly eats local fauna, such as large fish, it will opportunistically, occasionally attack humans, Joe.
Yeah. No.
Most
I
likely.
don't know. Have you ever tried human face? It is delicious.
No.
I would suggest putting some bath salts on it first.
Okay, little bath salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most likely because this So it attacks humans sometimes when the opportunity arises.
Which it sometimes does.
Most likely because the creature or animal is extremely territorial and an opportunist, meaning it will attack larger prey when the conditions present themselves. One scientist theorized that the creature may be related to another cryptid, the Kangamaro. However, it's described as more of a bat-like creature than a reptile-like one. It may be closely related to the orang Batty. Like I said, there's so many different cryptids in Indonesia. I love it. One account.
It is possible though that everyone's looking at the same thing, but they're just calling it by different names.
It could be. It could be, or they're seeing it in different. Like maybe they're seeing a younger one, not a full-grown one.
I mean, some people say it looks lizardy. Some people say it looks mammally. Some people say it looks like a big bat. The only common theory that I hear is that it's definitely got bat-like wings and it's definitely big.
And it screams, ahoo!
Ahoo! To be fair, that's just fun.
That is fun.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. If we can find common ground with any enemy, then we could reach peace. So if we ever need to have diplomatic relations with this thing, I think that our common ground is ahoo! It's fun to say.
It is really fun to say.
Yeah.
Let's keep them around. I mean, they're just Pokemon. Anybody got a Poffin?
Ahoo!
We just need to give him a Poffin. He'll be our friend.
Aha! See, that was too deep of a cut for even me because when I stopped watching that show, there was 150 Pokemon, but you kept playing the games.
I played every single one.
So you actually have information. Yeah. Continue.
Ahoo!
Ahoo!
One account of the Ahoo occurred in 1925.
In 1925.
When naturalist Dr. Ernest Bartels, son of the noted ornithologist.
Hold on, though. Ernest Bartel, that sounds like a 1920s name.
It does.
Yeah.
Ernest Bartels.
Ernest Bartels, son of the
ornithologist. Whatever that is. M.E.G. Bartels was exploring a waterfall on the slopes of the Salic Mountains when a giant unknown bat, the Ahul, flew directly overhead. 2 years later, in 1927, around 11:30 p.m., Dr. Ernest Bartels encountered the Ahul again. This time, he was laying in bed inside his thatched house, close to the Chedjingal River in western Java, listening to the sounds of the jungle when he suddenly heard a very different sound coming from almost directly over his hut. This loud and clear cry seemed to utter...
Ahul!
Thank you, Joe.
I will say, though, real quick, an ornithologist is someone who studies birds.
Thank you.
Continue.
Thank you. I did not know what that was. Grabbing his torch, Dr. Bartels ran out of his hut in the direction of the sound, where the sound seemed to be heading. Less than 20 seconds later, he heard it again. A final, which floated back towards. I feel like this is like telling a story. I love it, Joe. Thanks. It floated back towards him from a considerable distance downstream. As he would recall, many years later, he was transfixed on the sound, not because he did not know what produced it, but rather because he did. The Ahul, so he knew.
Fuck you!
It's like, oh, that's the Ahul's cousin. He's a jerk.
Yeah. No, that's nice though. Good story, man. That is creepy.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
So it says at one time Bartels had suggested that perhaps the creature was not a bat, but some type of bird, possibly a very large owl. But this theory did not sit well with others and was greeted with passionate denials by his friends, who assured him in no uncertain terms that they were more than capable of distinguishing a bat from a bird.
Yeah, that is fair, right? Like, no, dude, I saw it. It was not a bird. But that
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that when people are just straight up like trying to talk you out of what you saw, and they're like, "Well, do you think maybe?" But like, no. Okay, no. I know what the hell Santa Claus with a shotgun is. Okay.
And you've seen like how bats like flutter around, like they look like they're like on crack, like they're just like could you imagine a giant one like moving like that, just like what the fuck? Like what the fuck is that?
I mean, I think a giant bat would be scary enough as it is without it having to be moving erratically for me to be freaked out.
That would freak me the fuck out. Like, God, what the fuck is that? Then that's Ahul. Bartels' accounts of the Ahul were passed down to cryptozoologist Ivan T. Sanderson, so I imagine he had a degree, by Bernards Heuvelmans, and after much research, Sanderson concluded that the Ahul is a form of unclassified bat. Sanderson took special interest in the Ahul because he too had met with such a creature, but not in Java. His encounter took place in the Asumbo Mountains of Cameroon in Western Africa. Sanderson thought that the Ahul could be an oriental form of the giant bat-like creature he witnessed in Africa. This creature was known by the African natives as the Kangamato.
I don't know. I mean, if there's one giant bat creature, there could be several everywhere, right? Because it's like you say, there's Nessie and Loch Ness, and then we have Lake Champlain.
Yeah, got Champ
from
and there's a ton of other ones too.
Exactly. So yeah, okay, I'm fine with that.
I was gonna, it proved to me it doesn't exist. You can't. So some researchers have suggested that the Ahul may be a surviving population of pterosaur, a flying reptile thought to have gone extinct around the time of the dinosaurs some 65 million years ago.
This is my favorite theory. I want them to be pterodactyls. I'm just saying that would be really, really cool.
Right? I mean,
just once, can't something in real life be like a B movie from the Sci-Fi Channel?
I want it too, Joe. That's another thing. Like, yeah, like I tend to like lean towards wanting to believe because I want it. Yeah, I want that too. Like, How crazy.
I know. Could there just not be a hole in the ground that we all fall into and end up in Dinotopia? Is it just too much to ask?
Land of the Lost.
Exactly. Different property, but I'd take it. I'll fight some slee stacks. They seem like they move pretty slowly.
So, yeah, you probably do okay.
Yeah, I think I got it. I watched that show from the 60s. I watched the show from the 90s. I watched the Will Ferrell movie. I got
I
this.
only remember, I think, the 90s, the Land of the Lost. That's like the only one I remember.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was the best because that was the first one I saw.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So that was the only one I saw.
It may have not been the best, but it was the one I liked the best.
Yeah. So, indeed.
Indeed,
the description of the Ahul does match what we currently know. I don't know why Kermit the Frog came out.
Oh, that's pretty good.
What we currently know about the pterosaur species, including large forearms supporting leathery wings. The majority of investigators seem to agree, however, that the Ahul is more than likely a form of unknown giant bat, looking to the creature's reported facial features as evidence against the flying reptile theory. Or I guess the flying primate.
Yeah.
A third, less popular theory, also based on the reported facial features of the Ahul, is that this beast may be the world's first reported case of a flying primate, if that turns out to be true.
I don't know.
I
mean, I guess it's possible, but like once again, I feel like unless it actually is like a gorilla or a chimpanzee or like a species we know of that happens to have wings, then to me it was just another mammal. So
they totally exist.
It wouldn't be. Well, I'm just saying it wouldn't be a flying primate then, right? It would just be another mammal, and we wouldn't come up with a different name because it's a species of an animal we haven't seen before.
Well, I don't know. Have you not seen Wizard of Oz, Joe? There's flying monkeys in that.
You have solved it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
this whole thing is just promotion for the movie Wicked.
It really is, and we actually got fun to talk about later. But anyways, so yes, so it could be the first reported case of a flying primate. If that's true.
That's stupid.
Regardless of which theory you may subscribe to, it may only be a matter of time before we find out exactly what the Ahul is. With the unfortunate continued destruction of Java's rainforests, the Ahul's habitat continues to shrink, which may lead to more encounters with the creature by modern man as we encroach further on its home.
Yeah, same thing with Bigfoot, right? Like suddenly there's just going to be like random cryptids just roaming our cities and
like what?
Just damn it, there's a cryptid in my trash can.
Y'all knocked down my home.
Oh man.
Dick.
That's a fun idea for a comic.
That would be a funny movie, I think.
Well, just like all the bullshit you deal with when it's like wildlife coming into cities because, the thing we just said. But like change it to be like Bigfoots and other weird
Make it
things.
a dystopian future where, we finally...
It doesn't even have to be dystopian. I think it's funnier if it's just like a Leave It to Beaver neighborhood where it's like, and we got to deal with Bigfoot again.
That would be funny.
Call the Yeti catcher.
That would be funny. But yeah, it's like, because we destroyed all their homes. So they're just like, fuck it. Deal with us. So, Indonesia contains some of the most inhospitable jungles in the world. It was not until recently that some significant discoveries were made, such as a colony of coelacanths found in 1998, originally thought to only be off of the Comoro Islands, while in 1994, a new species of tree kangaroo with extremely distinct characteristics. Not forgetting the Komodo dragon, the world's largest lizard, reaching lengths of over 3 meters long. And it took a while for them to discover that. That was pretty recent. It doesn't say the exact date here. So if something as large as the Komodo dragon can remain unknown for so long, then the Ahul might be discovered someday as well. Unfortunately, the destruction of the Ahul's home may also lead to its extinction before we even get a chance to fully understand its identity.
I hope we get to prove that there's a giant bat creature out there. That would be, like I said, I'm just looking for that magic in the world, bud.
I agree. No, it's an empty world without a giant bat, Joe.
I know. Is it too much to ask? Like I said.
Chicago.
moving on to our next. But that was this week's spooky stuff. Like to revisit a cryptid. It was fun. Giant bats. I'm in.
Fuck yeah. I have a feeling we'll be going back to Indonesia because, like I said, there's a ton of other things there as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they have hundreds of cryptids, I mean, that sounds like there's some other cool things to explore.
So if you find a cryptid that you want us to cover, email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. You can also contact us on our Instagram, which is Earthling Entertainment, or our Facebook, which, if you have a Facebook, just look up Earthling Entertainment.
And we are on TikTok, Earthling Entment, because it's the shortened version for entertainment.
Yeah.
The only thing that would fit.
Fair enough. Hey, guys. And with that, I think it's time to jump into the second part. Wait, the second part of our first part of our show.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Part 2 of part 1.
0.05.
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Congress is about to hold a UFO hearing. This comes to us from Washingtonian.com. Just before midnight on July 19th, 1952, a Washington National Airport air traffic controller spotted 7 unusual objects on radar, first hovering about 15 miles southwest of the city after floating above the White House and the Capitol. That same night, an airman at Andrews Air Force Base saw an object which appeared to be like an orange ball of fire trailing a tail. The pilot of the departing commercial flight spotted 6 white, tailless, fast-moving lights. The mysterious objects disappeared from radar upon the arrival of 2 Air Force jets, then reappeared when the jets left. The following weekend, more inexplicable lights glimmered over D.C., prompting the Air Force to send jets after the objects. Once again, the anomalies vanished.
Okay, well, damn. They at least don't want to be spotted or captured, that's for sure.
I love that story. We mentioned it before, but I just feel like it's just such a smoking gun for like that was them coming in. That was them saying, we're here and here we go. We're still fighting the good fight. So it says here, in a press conference that week, Air Force Chief of Intelligence Major General John Samford attributed the bizarre radar activity to a temperature inversion. Project Blue Book, the Air Force's UFO investigation program, more like, a debunking program.
Well, not everyone was trying to do that, but yes, that was the ultimate agenda.
So they deemed this theory inadequate. The CIA formed a study group to analyze the sightings, and by the following year had concluded that UFOs were not a visible national security threat. More than 70 years later, officials still can't explain what actually happened. However, if you're among the majority of Americans who currently believe in intelligent life beyond Earth, take heart. On Wednesday, which is today, we're releasing the podcast on a Tuesday. It's tomorrow. On Wednesday, tomorrow. The House Oversight Committee will hold a hearing on the subject of UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena, an increasingly popular term to describe these airborne mysteries. The House hearing comes more than a year after whistleblower David Grush accused the Pentagon of running a secret UFO retrieval program. And as government officials appear to be rolling up their sleeves on the UAP issue, rest assured that the general public has long been keeping a watchful eye on the sky, including right here in the D.C. area.
Well, obviously not right there. Right there in the D.C. area.
Right, yeah. This must be, this is the Washingtonian, so yeah. Alejandro Rojas is a consultant for Enigma Labs, a platform that aggregates photo, video, and witness testimony of UAP sightings across the country. The company emphasizes its nonpartisanship and remains neutral on the origins of UAPs their users report. That's part of why they stick with the phrase UAP, as Rojas puts it. The term UFOs got baggage over time, and they don't want to conjure up any extraterrestrial connotations. They're simply pursuing the scientific investigation of something unknown. Enigma has been up and running for about a year and a half. Since then, they've received more than 25,000 UAP reports across the globe, but mostly from Americans. According to Rojas, sightings correlate with population, So the biggest share of their data originates from users in California, Texas, and Florida. Based on its sheer quantity of reports, DC is not a hotspot, but it's interesting anyway. He says it is one of the largest areas of secure airspace, Rojas says, so you would expect that area would be very heavily monitored, which it is, but despite that, sometimes we do get weird objects. Enigma users have reported 23 UAP sightings in the DC area so far. The most recent report was uploaded last week. A user posting about silvery disc shapes in the sky outside their window. Last October, 2 colleagues noticed a shiny metallic object floating past their office. They thought it was a balloon until it started making odd maneuvers.
That maneuver sure is strange.
One would call it odd.
Yes. Just quick interjection, because you're on a roll, so I don't want to interrupt. A quick interjection is, long story short, all the activity being mostly in the United States supports the theory that it's our own government and their experimental ships rather than aliens. Because I think we have reverse engineered some of these vehicles.
Engineered UFOs.
Yeah, that's just my theory. But jump back in. This is fascinating.
These user testimonies have helped Enigma to establish a UAP social network of sorts. We wanted an easy way for people to be able to submit reports, but also look at other reports, because often when people see something, they're like, wow, did anybody else see that thing I saw?
Absolutely. You're like, am I losing my mind, or did you call your neighbor? You say, look up.
Yeah, it's good. It's validating, you know? The platform also aims to clear up any confusion surrounding whether an object is truly unidentified. Rojas says users are getting more savvy around what they're seeing, but Enigma will step in to clarify when a reported UAP is actually a known object. For example, some reports mistake SpaceX's Starlink satellites for UAPs, like this one from May of 2023.
I mean, it has happened. I've looked up and saw what I thought was like maybe a UFO or a shooting star or something, and it turned out to be a satellite.
I've seen one too.
Yeah.
I always find myself being like, come on.
Yeah.
Do something.
Strange.
Yeah, do something crazy. Like all of a sudden just make a hard right. Now. Yeah. Do it.
Turn green suddenly and then get huge and then get really small and disappear.
Where I used to live. Where I used to live was right in line with where planes would come straight at you to the airport to land. So, like, I would just be sitting there. I'm like, is this happening?
Yeah, is this UFO? Until it turns and you notice that, oh, no, it's light on the wings. Damn it.
Oh, dude, yeah. It was, no joke, torture. But when there's no readily available explanation for a user sighting, Enigma won't jump to any conclusions. Its goal is simply to collect the reports and, in some cases, pass them along to researchers who may be interested in doing some more analysis and science around them, according to Rojas. Some of those researchers are, of course, interested in aliens. Others are concerned with drones flying over secured military airspace. Some study rare weather events like ball lightning, which can be mistaken for UAPs. We're helping to gather data. So
to be fair, if I ever saw a ball lightning, I would absolutely think if it wasn't an alien, I'd be like, well, that is clearly an extra dimensional demon. Like that is clearly some sci-fi shit happening here.
I would be in the same exact boat. We're helping to gather data so that the data can be analyzed, so we can figure out more about what the phenomena is, Rojas says. Since its launch, Enigma developers have noticed their platform filling an emotional need. Oftentimes, Rojas says, people will try to talk to family or friends about their unexplained sightings, and they're just completely shut down and told, we don't want to talk about it, that's goofy. By approaching the subject from a perspective of scientific interest, he hopes the company's work can shake some stigma off of the UAP conversation and create a safe space for discussion. Somewhere to take off your tinfoil hat and stay a while.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if people feel safer to report it is when you're going to get more, more reports, for lack of a better word. People are going to actually, you can get more data, and more data gets us closer to the answers. That's all I'm saying.
And regardless of what goes on, whatever is said tomorrow at this hearing, I'm glad it's still being talked about, because the more it's talked about, the people who actually see stuff might not be so scared to come out and talk about it.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report. The episode list for the 5th and final season of Stranger Things has been revealed. Episode 1, The Crawl. Episode 2, The Vanishing of. Name redacted. Episode 3, The Turnbow Trap. Episode 4, Sorcerer. Episode 5, Shock Jock. Episode 6, Escape from Kamazats. Episode 7, The Bridge. And Episode 8, The Right Side Up. This has been a special report. Yeah. Reporting.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
And with that, of course, we have reached to the second part of the show, the pop culture and entertainment section.
Yay.
And here's our first thing we like to call...
Music Mumbles.
The Cure's Songs of a Lost World debuts #1 on multiple Billboard charts. This comes to us from Billboard.com.
So they know.
The Cure. I love The Cure. The Cure makes a striking return to Billboard's album charts with the arrival of Songs of a Lost World, and it is a great album. It's the band's first #1 on the 33-year-old top album sales chart and the act's highest charting effort on the Billboard 200 at #4 since 1992. It also bows at #1 on top rock and alternative albums, top rock albums, top alternative albums, vinyl albums, and indie store album sales.
Woo! Yeah!
Good for them, man. Songs
Nailing
of
it.
a Lost World is The Cure's first album of new material since 2008. The new album is the act's third top 10 charting set on the Billboard 200, following its self-titled effort, #7 in July of 2004, and Wish, #2 in May of 1992. The new album's first week sales were bolstered by its availability across 5 vinyl variants, a standard CD, a CD Blu-ray audio package, 2 cassettes, a standard digital download, and a deluxe digital download with 5 bonus live tracks exclusive to the band's web store.
That's smart, right? Like, they're just diversifying. I think we talked last week a bit about how vinyl records, occasionally they're releasing these special editions. Looks like they had 2 variants, and all these put together is part of the reason why they blew up with these sales.
And I was just talking about The Cure, just the respect they have for their fans. Like, me and Joe went and saw The Cure, and literally...
Yeah, last year, right? Last
Yep.
summer.
And
Oh, love that.
Ticketmaster tried to upcharge literally 100% because they were only asking for $20 for the ticket. Ticketmaster charged me $20 additionally for convenience fees.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
then
for
literally,
convenience fees.
and then I saw some news about him being pissed, about Robert Smith of The Cure being ticked. And then I get an email from Ticketmaster. You are going to be refunded, because I bought the 2 tickets, $20. They're like, and then space. This is all thanks to Robert Smith of The Cure.
Yeah, he cut his tickets in half to make up for the bullcrap fees.
Yep. No, we were refunded from the convenience fees. The tickets were still $20 for.
Oh, really?
Because I mean, that's fair. And we went to Pine Knob, you know what I mean? But
I misunderstood where the refund came from,
yeah.
but that's good. I'm glad that was fixed.
yep. So I got $20 back on that, thanks to them. And it's just like, to me, it's just those little things, and I can't help but laugh. I remember I even said it on stage with my band, and I was just like, telling the crowd, like, the most non-threatening man to ever pick up a guitar was able to muscle up to Ticketmaster. What's everybody else's excuse?
Fair enough.
Like, for real.
Well, that was a great show. I heard, luckily we heard everything that we pretty much wanted to, even though parking that show was a nightmare.
Dude, they effed up so bad. I will go ahead and go and say, like, do better, Pine Knob, when it comes to your parking. Do better. It's a nightmare.
Well, we missed a quarter of the show.
Oh yeah, we literally missed all the opener, and we left so early. We left so freaking early. We were sitting in the car in that line of cars for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
You should never miss a show because the venue doesn't know how to park your cars.
Precisely. And we missed the first 4 songs of the Cure's set, which included Pictures of You, which is like one of my favorites.
Oh.
I'm gonna go cry now.
Well, yeah, so happy to hear the Cure's having so much success. We are fans, and way to go.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, and just as a little side note, in other music news, Shakira, the singer, well, she'll be reprising her role as Gazelle in Disney's Zootopia 2. That's
Try
right.
everything.
Since we both have kids, I assume we'll be seeing that one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And there's not really an article there. That's just a nice little mention, you know? So
good for her, because, yeah, you don't often see that. Where, in like, just like, but I mean, Zootopia was a huge success. So, I mean, and I think they're even doing like a whole Zootopia section in Animal Kingdom.
That makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you? Because Animal Kingdom, yeah, that seems like the perfect park if you're going to do a Zootopia section.
I heard arguments against it because, like, because Zootopia is arguable about animals with human being problems. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of funny. Like,
well, that's why you make it a part of the park. You don't make it the whole park. I mean, I agree that if you changed the entire message of like, forget cultivation of real animals, let's just pretend in this sci-fi CGI world. Yay.
Talking animals.
Talking animals. Better than regular animals.
That's right.
Well, with that, guys.
And Walt Disney says, it'll do.
It'll do. Unfortunately, it's time for us to say goodbye to another one of our Hollywood heroes on this week's
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Tony Todd, Candyman, and Final Destination star, dies at 69. This comes to us from Variety.com. Tony Todd, an American actor known for leading the Candyman horror franchise as its eponymous? Yep. I've never heard that word before in my life. Eponymous hook-wielding ghost died Wednesday at his home in Marina del Rey, California. He was 69. Todd's death was confirmed by a representative for the actor. A cause of death was not disclosed. His reliable presence in the genre film spreads across 4 decades. Todd's series of credits include iconic titles such as The Crow, The Rock, and Final Destination franchise. One of his earliest film performances came in his early 30s in Oliver Stone's Oscar-winning war epic Platoon. On Star Trek: The Next Generation, Todd donned alien makeup to play Kern, a commander in the Klingon Defense Force, and the brother of Worf, played by series regular Michael Dorn. Todd never stopped working, often lending his gravitas and genre reputation to direct-to-video thrillers over the recent years. His profile on IMDb currently lists more than 9 titles that have entered post-production. He is survived by his 2 children, Alex and Ariana. Tony Todd, you will be missed.
And he will be missed. You know, he came back for the newest Candyman, which I thought was crazy because I just didn't expect him to come back. Do you know how many credits as an actor he has on IMDb?
93.
He has 245 acting credits.
Dang.
And like they said, there's 15 movies that haven't even come out yet that he's apparently in.
I love it.
So, hey, cheers to you, man. Tony Todd, you will be missed. Did you see him at Motor City Nightmares or ever?
If I did, it might have been passing by. I can't remember. I did hear, though, that when they filmed Candyman, like, they had a cool deal on his contract for every sting. I think he got like an extra $500.
It was the original Candyman, and I do not remember the exact number, but I do know, yeah, he got a lot of money for each sting.
And I think he got stung something like over 30 times. So there you go, cash money.
Cheers to you, Candyman, Candyman.
What are you trying to do, Joe?
Earthlink Entertainment headlines.
Mattel apologizes after fans discover Wicked Dolls link to porn website.
Yeah, to be clear, Wicked, the film Wicked dolls, like dolls they make for the film. Because not like Wicked dolls. I'm just saying, they have like scary dolls. They have all this bullshit, so I want to be clear.
Yes. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. Wicked is all about going on an intense journey of self-discovery, but some fans may have been about to discover just a little bit more than they bargained for through their love of Wicked. On the back of Mattel's latest line of Wicked fashion dolls, a misprinted link on the packaging sent folks to a porn site instead of Wicked the movie's website, as no doubt that was intended. Alas, on the back of the Wicked Dolls boxes, the following URL appeared, www.wicked.com. And though we won't link it, as the dolls did, that, friends, is absolutely a porn site and not a site intended to promote the Wicked movie. Although, if it had been, that would have been a marketing stunt of great audacity.
All right, so the real website is wickedmovie.com. Wicked.com. Well, it's been around for a while.
It's so funny. We just hope no one was changed for good by accidentally typing in the porn site URL provided to them by the Wicked Dolls. Of course, in the age of the internet, a juicy mistake is often discovered quickly and cannot persist for very long. Mattel has already ordered a recall of the Wicked Dolls with the mistaken copy and shared the following statement. Mattel was made aware of a misprint on the packaging of the Mattel Wicked Collection dolls, primarily sold in the U.S., which intended to direct consumers to the official wickedmovie.com landing page. We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this.
Do you think someone did it on purpose? Or like they got fired that week and they're like, you know what? Screw you guys. Backspace.
That's so fun.
I'm out.
Maybe. That's a possibility. So parents are advised that the misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children.
To be clear, it's people doozing it.
Consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and that may contain Mattel customer service.
No. People
Sorry.
who already have the product, vacuum seal it.
Yes.
And save it for a Comic-Con 10, 20 years from now.
That's so true.
Sell it for $700.
And it would work, right? That would totally work.
Special misprint.
So yeah, they're saying, so discard the product packaging or obscure the link, and you may contact Mattel customer service for further information. So it's like, still bringing me to porn.
They're just going to be like, yeah, send it to us. We'll send you a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't help you with the porn addiction, sir. So in the meanwhile, these porn site Wicked Dolls have become something of a collector's item overnight.
Yeah.
Hey, they are an internet item of the moment, TM, after all. They may be difficult to get at this point, but reports from fans indicate some Targets and other stores may still have them on the shelves. If you want to be a part of the joke, you can try your luck on the shelves.
If you want to be part of the joke. No, if you want to make money.
That's right.
eBay people out there, find these Wicked Dolls, jacked up the price. It's what you do. It's how you feed your children.
And all of a sudden, Wicked.com just exploded.
I think that's actually what I think they say that.
But ultimately, the true winners of the purveyors are the purveyors of Wicked.com.
See, you couldn't have planned your statement at a better time. There you go, Ryan.
Yeah, see, I got the finger on the pulse, Joe. So they have seen their Google searches surge to a 12-year record high thanks to this mix-up. We guess sometimes it's good to be wicked. And while this might not be the kind of press Mattel wanted for its Wicked Dolls, it feels fair to say they are getting more attention thanks to this URL mix-up than they might have had otherwise. Honestly, we're just crossing our fingers that AI was at fault for this snafu. That would be iconic. Wicked, the non-porn version, releases on November 22nd, and the non-misprinted versions of Wicked Dolls are available now.
But you want the misprinted
You
one.
want the porn ones.
I got nothing. What else do you need to say about it?
Yeah, that's hilarious. What a F up.
Oh,
They
man.
screwed that up bad.
It's like when we were kids, I don't know if it was middle school or high school, that they had the porn blocker in all the computer labs, obviously. Well, whitehouse.com, they would let you go to, and that was a porn site because, it's obviously whitehouse.gov or something is the real one. I don't know. But that was a porn site. I don't know if it still is, but you can get to it at school. And it was like a joke that like every time someone leaves a computer lab, they would go to that and then leave that up.
Yeah, it's funny that I remember people being able to open stuff. I think I remember walking into the computer room and there's totally just straight up porn on it. And I'm just like, well,
I just hope no one ever acted on their urges. I just think it was funny that
I think it was just for fun. Yeah, I think
exactly.
it was just to be funny.
Hopefully, because now I'm creeped out. Now that I say it, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, the computer room lady was a bitch. She deserved it. Like, that's
and
right.
with that, let's go to headline number 2. I don't remember who the computer lady is, so I can't deny.
She was old and horrible, and she would never let me wear my jacket in class, and she would always write me tardy. I would always be to class on time, but I would have to wear my jacket because it was freaking cold, always freezing in there.
Ryan, you have some hot takes when it comes to this. That's awesome.
Damn right I do. F that woman.
Fair enough. Headline number 2.
Mass Effect TV series is now officially in development at Amazon. This comes to us from IGN.com. Hey, remember that Mass Effect TV show that we learned all the way back in 2021 with no update since? Well, we've got some good news. Amazon MGM Studios has finally officially begun development on it. Variety broke the news on Thursday. IGN has confirmed the news with Amazon as well. Daniel Cassie of 10 Cloverfield Lane is set to write and executive produce the series. Other producers include EA BioWare's Michael Gamble, who's leading development on the next Mass Effect game, and Avi Arad, who is also working on the upcoming The Legend of Zelda live-action movie.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No.
Oh, yeah. No, that's happening. Basically, since Mario made a fucking $1 billion, Nintendo's like, all right, we'll do some other stuff. So it came out that they were going to do a Zelda movie. And there was a lot of debate whether it was going to be an animated or live action. It came out it was live action a little bit ago.
Oh, man. It's like, don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Well, a little piece of information it's not a story on today's show because there's not much to say. But they promised, and to me this is laughable because it's so far away, but they promised that the live-action Legend of Zelda movie will be released before 2030.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't hold your breath. Got it.
Exactly.
So,
but that's an actual headline out there right now.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know about that. So there's a little Easter egg in this article there. So also Kareem Creek of Cedar Tree Productions are producing as well under an overall deal with Amazon MGM Studios. We don't know too much else about the series other than those names involved. At the moment, the only plot detail Amazon is letting slip is the fact that it's based on the best-selling sci-fi video game franchise from EA. So it's still unknown if it'll be a straightforward adaptation or another story set in the world of the games. As mentioned, the last we heard about the project in 2021 was that Amazon and EA were nearing a deal to adapt BioWare's beloved RPG series.
So they're working on it. They're trying to figure it out.
They're working on it.
You could do what The Last of Us has done and make each game a season, That's always a good idea.
That would work. Mass Effect, I remember loving that first game. When it was done, I remember being like, holy crap, that was amazing. And I think I played it again, because you can be good or bad.
Yeah, so, it's one of those RPGs that give you a lot of choice.
Yeah, and it really affected the game. And then you told me, because I've tried playing the second one, and I just didn't really like the travel feature with the fuel and all that. It confused me, and I kind of got stuck. And
yeah, once you get stuck, sometimes you lose interest.
I lost interest, and I never tried the third. So I had heard that the third Mass Effect game was the best. And then you tell me that you actually heard completely different.
Yeah, from every game connoisseur that I talked to, basically the third one, the ending was kind of linear. Everything you do ultimately has basically the same ending. So it made people who are fans of the franchise pissed off because like all the choices you made in the first, second, third, none of it matters because we all basically end up in the same place. And they tried to rectify it. They did another game. It was like Mass Effect Andromeda or something like that. But ultimately, and I think they had a DLC that also expanded a bit on the ending. But basically, yeah, people were let down at the.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Because they had to make
linearness
it.
of it.
They were trying to make an ending, so it's like
It's tough to do an ending on a game that has so much choices. I agree with you completely on that. But I'm excited for the Mass Effect TV show. I mean, right now, a lot of these video game TV shows are doing pretty good. Twisted Metal, I really liked. Obviously, Last of Us. There's just
Fallout.
Fallout, so good. Oh, all right. Let's go to headline number 3, though.
Let's. Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick will direct and star in a horror comedy family movie.
Family movie's the name. It's not a that's
Oh.
why it's in quotations.
Family movie.
They will be in a horror comedy called
Family movie. This comes to us from rumorg.com. The whole Bacon family, in fact, is involved in this project. From Friday the 13th through Tremors to Maxine. I love when we mention Tremors on this show. Tremors. Kevin Bacon has been a consistent...
Actually, we need to do a pause real quick. Do you know they have a Tremors comic? And at LA Comic-Con, I was able to get the second issue. I'm not sure if it's like printed through any particular company. It seems like it's pretty independent. 2 guys were there. I assume the guys who write and could draw the comic, and they signed it for me. And I was just doing a little bit of talk with them, and I'm like, hey guys, are you excited about the fact that the new Tremors, the Tremors guys got the rights back to the original screenplay, the original screenwriters. So we talked about last week. So they're going to probably do another Tremors movie. Does that excite you? And they were just kind of like a little bit like, they seemed gruff. And then it dawned on me that maybe the rights transfer screws them and they can't do the comic anymore. So then I felt bad. This is all speculation, but I guess my point is there's a Tremors comic out there, and I had a weird interaction with the guys who make it.
Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. See, that's kind of why I'm not the biggest on cons, because like to me it is kind of awkward, the whole meeting.
It's normally not awkward, but there are some interactions where it's just like you walk up and you're like talking to someone, and then it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna buy anything. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
It's like I feel bad. I don't have the money to buy everybody's art, but I would if I could.
That's true. All
right, back to Kevin Bacon. All right, they're making a horror movie, and it's called Family Movie.
So Kevin Bacon has been a consistent presence in the genre, and now he's making the horror comedy called Family Movie, a family affair. He's calling it a family affair, Joe. He and partner Kira Sedgwick are directing the film from a script by Dan Beers.
Dan
Beers. I guess he did Premature, and Sosie Bacon, who did Smile, and Travis Bacon will co-star.
Great.
Smile's so good. The quartet are also producing for Mixed Breed Films, along with Dark Castle Entertainment's Norman Golightly. The synopsis: as cameras roll on their next low-budget slasher, an eclectic but tight-knit family of filmmakers suddenly find themselves in a real-life horror movie when a body turns up on set. As the production spirals comically out of control, they realize the only solution to keep filming is to cover up the murder by any means necessary.
Okay, that actually sounds really, really good. I love movies about making movies, and it's probably because I went to film school and I'm a filmmaker, but let me tell you, that is fun.
I like that.
Yeah, Troma did something kind of like that called Terra Firma, which is another movie that if you like the Troma feel, I would suggest. Okay. But back to this one, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm in. What?
Well, I love Kevin Bacon too. I don't know.
Bacon.
There may not be a more compelling Hollywood family than the Bacons, Golightly says. We can't wait to bring their unique dynamic to the screen and then wildly turn it on its head for audiences. Neon International is handling international rights and will introduce the movie at the current American film market, while CAA Media Finance is handling the U.S. rights.
Perfect. All right, so it'll probably be like Neon doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neon does a few really weird ones. I think they're the ones that did Talk to Me. Or, because I don't think
was a good one.
That was in Blumhouse, right? I think that was Neon. I know they did Neon Demon.
Mm.
But basically, they're another company doing these really obscure, artsy horror films.
Talk to Me was good. That was a good one. Another one I mentioned, I don't know, just on the random. I have no idea who did it, but Tarot. If you haven't seen Tarot, get on that shit. It's a good movie.
You mentioned that before. I don't think I liked it as much as you, but you seem to really think it was tits. Excuse me. Excuse me.
90s terminology. So, I think that brings us, Joe, to number 4.
The greatest headline ever. No, I'm not. It's okay.
Ice Age 6 is happening. Ice Age.
I like those movies.
No thanks. I choose life.
They're not all created equal, but they are not a bad little family film if you're into the CGI. You know,
my kids love these movies.
Yeah.
My youngest, especially, he watches it still all the time. Loves them.
Well, he'll be excited about the new one.
This comes to us from Deadline.com. Disney and 20th Century Animation announced Friday at D23 Brazil that Ice Age 6 is happening. The sixth quill will get a theatrical release. The original franchise was created by Blue Sky Studios, which Disney acquired through the 20th Century Fox merger, later shuttering the Oscar-winning animation division. Original cast members, Ray Romano, John
Leguizamo.
Thank you. I can never get that. Queen Latifah, Dennis Leary, and Simon Pegg are returning.
Excellent. So there's not really a huge article there. Just the fact that an actual sequel is coming out to Ice Age.
I think the last couple were kind of cheap.
Well, the last one that came out was like 2000. I mean, it might have been 2016. They did it was like a made for Disney Plus movie.
Yeah.
And it was more of a spin-off. It had the
brothers. It
had
like
the two brothers and go
Yeah.
down to the dinosaur world with Buck. And it was really bad. It
The
was a really
animation
bad
quality
movie.
really went down.
Yeah, it was basically like the Star Wars Christmas special of
Yes.
the Ice Age universe.
And it's hilarious because my youngest loves it. He
He does?
loves. Oh yeah, he still watches that. I saw him watching it just.
What was
a
that
while
one called?
ago.
Like Buck's Shitty Adventure in
yeah,
Downtown
it was
Dinosaur
that
Land.
was it. It was Buck's Shitty Adventure.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So-
happy we're not gonna leave off at Buck's Shitty Adventure.
Well,
I'm glad we're gonna have an actual sequel.
that's right. So everybody, that's right. Ice Age 6 is happening. It is currently being made.
It's happening. It's finally happening. Can you imagine being that excited about the Ice Age franchise? Some people are.
I would support him. Anybody who's that stoked. I'm pretty stoked about this next one.
Oh man, me too. Like just strap in for this one.
Macaulay Culkin joins cast of Fallout Season 2.
What? Awesome.
Okie dokie. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. One of the biggest surprises of the year was how good Prime's Fallout series was. The pitch-perfect mixture of disgusting gore, wild absurdism, and post-apocalyptic drama. The video game adaptation received a whopping 16 Emmy nominations.
I mean, that is really impressive.
Naturally, a second season announcement came almost immediately after the first wrapped. We know the show plans to return as fast as humanly possible, and one indication is Deadline's report that Macaulay Culkin will be joining the cast in a recurring role.
Yes. So not just a one-episode guy. He's not a Fred Amerson in this
around.
one. Yeah.
So far, we don't know much at all about the role, and no one has commented. However, Deadline says the actor will be playing a crazy genius type character. You know, those types in the Fallout world, it's not that big of a stretch.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of really crazy kooky. Do you think he might work for the Enclave, which are traditionally villains, which are the remnants of the government? Or do you think he's going to work for Vault-Tec, which is basically the corporation that caused all of this nonsense?
Well, the thing that started it all off was having to get the brain, the head or whatever of the guy, the scientist from the Enclave that already took off, right?
So he's probably an Enclave scientist.
Or maybe like an apprentice
I could
to
see
him
that.
or something like that. Like, and so he's kind of on the run. He would make a good bad guy though. I could see him like fully being Enclave, but I could also see him being just kind of an on the run genius who escaped him.
He did a movie called Party Monster,
Yes, he
Macaulay
did.
Culkin, and he played the most disturbed, effed up serial killer kind of sociopath character in that. So I feel like he could do a straight villain.
Oh, I agree. And he did it back when he was younger. He was creepy with The Good Son.
Oh yeah, the Good Son.
That was
Him and
creep-
Elijah Wood.
That's right.
Yeah, one thing that always stuck with me at the end of The Good Son. A spoiler for The Good Son. If you guys haven't seen the '90s movie The Good Son and don't want it spoiled, maybe stop paying attention for the next 5 seconds. So, the mom is holding them both off a cliff, Elijah Wood and
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, and she has to pick which one to save because she's not strong enough to pick them both. And it's this real heart-jerking moment because her actual son, Macaulay Culkin, is a psychopath, and I think it's like her sister's or brother's kid.
No, I think you have it swapped.
No, Macaulay Culkin's definitely her son. So the whole thing is,
I don't think so.
no, it's definitely her son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm throwing bets.
I will bet actual money on this, but you have to look it up right now as I finish this. So it's sitting there and it's like, oh no, what do I do? Do I choose my blood or do I choose my sister or brother's kid? And, ultimately she decides to drop Macaulay Culkin because he's a crazy sociopath and saves Elijah Wood. And I just remember this line at the end of the film where Elijah Wood's just like, I never asked her if she would make the decision again. And and that just stuck with
Oh,
me.
you're right. Yep.
I know I'm right.
Elijah Wood, a young boy who loses his mother, must stay with extended family. Okay. I don't know why I had that backwards.
I know. Don't ever question my movie knowledge.
I've been right before.
And I will never question your music knowledge.
That's right. Well, I will question what I like.
Fair enough. As long as we actually look it up on air.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. Moving on. Oh, wait. We're not moving on. Macaulay Culkin in Fallout. That's sweet. Was that the end of the article? Do we have more?
Nope. Culkin is, of course, the former behemoth child star whose hit movies included Home Alone, My Girl, and The Good Son. He's actually already acted opposite Fallout star Walton Goggins, playing baby Billy's son, Harmon Freeman, in HBO's The Righteous Gemstones in Season 2.
That's true. I didn't see that show, but I've heard really good things about it.
Fallout Season 2 will continue on with the story and the characters of Season 1. It will also shift some, if not all, of the action to New Vegas, as Lucy McLean, played by Ella Purnell, and the Ghoul, played by Goggins, head there to look for her shady father, played by Kyle MacLachlan. We're excited to see Culkin join that band of wastelanders.
And like many Fallout fans, everyone's excited about the sequel, Season 2 basically being New Vegas.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, New Vegas, I played that game a billion times. I probably put like thousands of hours, I'm not even exaggerating, playing that game. And I feel like if I tried to play it now, it's a little dated. Like, because they've just improved so much on, like, leveling up and the different perks.
That's true with every game, man. If I get too far behind on the catalog of video games that I need to play, they sometimes fall off because it's like, well, that was 5 years ago now, and this doesn't work anymore.
Coming from me, where I'm still playing Dragon Age 2 right now, and like across the screen, it's like
Dragon Age Vanguard, sir. It just came out.
And it's funny. It still like gives like weird little updates that are like so old. It's like, remember 2011's hit masterpiece, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm playing a really old 15-year-old game.
Headline number 6:
Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot in the works from the Terrifier team.
Huh?
This comes to us from Fangoria.com. Following the gargantuan success of their festive Frightener Terrifier 3, Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting are bringing another Christmas slasher to screens with a reimagining of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
And it's about time. I mean, the 80s, that was like 30 years ago now, that film. Maybe 40.
That's
mean,
an
come
old
on.
movie, yeah. Mike P. Nelson from Wrong Turn, VHS 85, is set to direct with Scott J. Schneid and Dennis Whitehead, executive producers of Charles Sellier Jr.'s 1984 original, so 1984, producing. The original Silent Night, Deadly Night tells the story of young Billy Chapman, who is traumatized.
Yes, that's 40 years.
Yeah, who is traumatized after seeing his parents killed by a man dressed as Santa Claus. 10 years later, a psychotic Billy dons a Santa suit himself and gets bloody revenge. Speaking with Deadline, Nelson expanded on his own personal theory with the holiday slasher. The opportunity to work with producers involved with the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, and to partner with the Terrifier 3 team is an honor. I'll never forget walking into the video store at the mini mall when I was 5 and seeing that poster for the original film. I was just telling you the same thing, Joe.
It's a very iconic poster. It's got like a Santa arm, like still attached to the body, sticking out of a chimney, like he's crawling out of the chimney, but he's holding a bloody axe.
Yeah. I was in awe and started imagining what horrifying things would happen. To be a part of the film's legacy many years later is insane. I'm looking forward to getting production underway and unleashing my new take on this compelling story. Billy is back.
Billy is back.
Billy is back.
I don't know, man. If someone killed my parents when I'm a kid, dressing up like that person and kind of going on my own killing rampage, I guess I could see that psychologically. I mean, that's the whole thing with Dexter. Like in that show, in that book, where he basically witnessed his horrific parents getting basically dismembered, and he was just kind of like a 2-year-old sitting in a pile of blood for hours. You remember that? Well, it turned him into a serial killer.
Relatable.
I'm just saying, Billy, maybe his motives are understandable from a psychologist's point of view.
Justice. So, back to Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Justice.
Cineverse's executive director of acquisitions, Brandon Hill, who will oversee distribution and executive produce alongside Brad Miska, Eric Opeka, and Yolanda Macias, adds, I have always been a huge fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night and can't wait to bring Mike's vision to fellow fans of iconic slashers. As we have seen this year, there continues to be an incredible demand for independent horror films with Bite, and we believe this can deliver strong audiences from theatrical to home entertainment and streaming. The original Silent Night, Deadly Night was, much like Terrifier 3, a controversy back in the day, with Deadline reminding that the National Parent and Teacher Association fought to have the film removed from theaters, and there were protests against the gory slasher being advertised as a Christmas movie. So strap in.
Yeah. So controversial back 40 years ago. Will it still be controversial today? I mean, the guys who behind Terrifier 3, that makes sense. I mean, all the Terrifiers have been really gross and bloody and, freaked some people out majorly. So I have to imagine they're going to try to up the ante. So it's probably going to be pretty controversial and screwed up.
Oh, yeah. No, this is going to be a good one for sure. It should be a fun ride. You got Terrifier's team on there. So, yeah, here we go.
Here we go. And guys, with that is the end of our headlines. Now, normally when we do headlines, it is the end of our show. But this week, I found an article that I wanted to explore. And there's been a common theme with some of these articles is sometimes there's just news of cool alien movies or TV shows that really isn't like news or isn't really like a disclosure discussion topic, but still deserve a mention. So I thought in our entertainment section, why don't we, when this comes up, have another cool segment? And this is lovingly called ET's in Entertainment.
Free to watch Steven Spielberg Alien series starring Dakota Fanning has 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. This comes to us from ladbible.com. Sure, new TV series might be dropping every other week at this point, but sometimes you just can't beat the oldies. Why would you want to take a risk on the new Disney Plus show with Emily Attack when I could just rewatch The Inbetweeners again? Or maybe you're just nostalgic for the old things you missed out on. And a particular Steven Spielberg bit of work could fulfill that, as his Alien series starring Dakota Fanning is free to watch.
And this is a really good thing, because I want to interject for a while that Sci-Fi Channel did miniseries for a while in the early 2000s. This was the longest one, being 10 parts. But a lot of these things are really, really hard to find now. The Lost Room you can get on different distribution, but I've not been able to find Taken. So I have the DVDs because I loved it so much. So I've been able to watch it, but I've been waiting for some way to have this available again, whether they decided to re-release it or I just wanted something. Let me buy it on Vudu, put it on Amazon. So I'm excited that it's available, which is why I wanted to cover it this week.
Yeah, and I never got to see it, so this is my opportunity.
Here's your chance.
Boasting a whopping 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes, the miniseries first aired back in 2002 and won an Emmy. Not to be confused with the Liam Neeson hit, Taken is set between 1944 to 2002 and follows three families. And because of this decades-long storyline, none of the actors appear in every single episode. However, Fanning's voice does as she narrates the series, as well as playing Alice Keys.
Yeah, so it does follow the three families. The three families is one guy starts as a World War II soldier, and he gets basically abducted by the Foo Fighters, and it follows his lineage. And I don't want to give anything away. So the other one is the government agent who from Roswell who found was there through the Roswell landing and like what he does, and that follows him. And well, gosh darn, I don't remember the third one now. So that's funny. But it is and the third one is the alien who crashes and actually in Roswell, and he meets he's helped out by a farm community, and it's that family that you follow. And those three families throughout basically every abduction and everything that's happened, every science experiment with aliens, every psychic thing. So it's a whole lot of fun.
I mean, obviously, I love the subject, and if it's done by Spielberg, it's got to be good. And I mean, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Over the 50 years, Taken sees the three families intersect following the Roswell crash as they experience alien abductions, secret government investigations, and the mystery of the encounters with these extraterrestrial beings. While you might have never heard of the TV series Taken, or simply forgot it ever existed, people absolutely love it.
Like me, I'm one of those people.
One fan wrote on Reddit, "I love this series. I've got the DVD set, and I've watched them at least half a dozen times." Joe.
That fan was not me.
I was going to say, Joe, you're typing in on Reddit. Okay. As another simply said, "My, how time flies."
That guy's worried about aging.
Yes. Plenty called it a great series, as they said it's a great example of what good storytelling directors can tell in a long-form format. However, one did put, "I thought this miniseries was really well done, but so intensely depressing that I don't think I could ever watch it again. Even the theme song gives me this feeling of panoramic overwhelm for which I'm never quite ever prepared." Others demanded a re-release of the show, as someone else wanted to give it another go after being afraid of it as a kid.
Yeah, because like I said, you couldn't find it anywhere.
Some found it too scary back in the day on from DreamWorks Television. I loved this series, but had nightmares with the ETs, another admitted. While one also confessed, "I watched the video for minutes, and I was confused as to how aliens tied into European sex trafficking ring. Took me a while to realize it had nothing to do with Liam Neeson. I'm an idiot."
Ryan,
That was
you.
Okay. Well, If you can realize it has nothing to do with the film and fancy giving it a go, all episodes of Taken are actually available to watch on YouTube.
That's right. So that's something everyone can enjoy because YouTube is free.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
know.
you got to pay to not have commercials, but
Right,
essentially,
you gotta deal with the commercials.
yeah, I know, I pay for it. I know you don't.
I do not.
I do. I can't, like, when my kid's watching Miss Rachel, Miss Rachel, it got confused because it was Miss Rachel and Miss Apple, because Miss Apple is the English version of it.
Okay.
There's also it actually was innocent, not terrible
I
reason.
know,
I know what you're thinking. I'm sorry I made that mistake. But anyways, YouTube, pay for it because it's good without commercials. Moving on, Ryan. But Taken, dude, it is such a good show. And each episode that aired it's going to be about an hour and a half without commercials because it meant to air as like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 movies.
Okay. Yeah, you were kind of explaining it to me because I confessed to you before we began that I had never seen it, so I'm gonna have to give that a watch.
I suggest anyone who like is into aliens and grays and this whole, what is it all about? It's just a fun, maybe this is the answer kind of thing. It's their reason behind it all, and they connect it all. Like like I said, Roswell, Foo Fighters, abductions, the implants, everything that has happened in in that time, 20 more years have passed. But I'm just saying that's their answer to it all.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Very much so. And with that, guys, that's all of our real material. Did you have anything you wanted to add? So I'm going to take that as probably not.
I guess not, Joe. I wasn't ready.
That's all right. There's just a couple things that I couldn't really fit in the show, but are worth mentioning. Ghostface is going to return to Scary Movie 6. So we're going to get like another one of the Wayans brothers are doing another one of the slasher is. So
okay,
that's fine.
cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
The Lions are 8-1 now.
That's true. They had an amazing win on, what was it, Sunday or Monday?
It was a close game. We threw a lot of interceptions, so we got lucky on that. Well, not lucky. We hauled ass. We did it. It's crazy.
True. Yeah. Well, I know they kept the other team from scoring for both the third and fourth quarter, which is very impressive, and then won as the clock went out with a kick. So
Yep.
So
it was close. That was a close kick too. It was right on the pole, man.
Oh, way to go, Lions!
So they did it. So yes, 8-1 for the first time in when they were 7-1. That was the first time in history. 6-1. It was last time was 1954, 56. So this is once again, it's never been done before. The Lions have never been 8-1 before. It's insane.
Well, sports. In other news, if you give a hoot, Tom Holland and Zendaya have both been cast in Christopher Nolan's next film.
Hoot.
I wonder if that was a little bit of a package deal because they're dating. You know what I mean? So it's like Tom Holland was announced a little bit ago, so now Zendaya's going to be in it. I wonder if he's like, hey, I'll take less money. Hiya, her too. Or
that's
if it was
a possibility.
It probably isn't. It was just what popped in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that goes, but yeah, it's good for them that they can work together and not drive each other insane.
Yeah, it is sometimes hard to work with your partner. Luckily, my partner is great because she produces a lot of the films that we do. So it's that's good because I'm artsy, not organization. So occasionally it could work, Ryan.
Occasionally.
And then finally, this I did not. And there's whole articles about this. People are talking about this, but I didn't mention it on our show because I don't believe it. So Simon Kinberg has signed on to do the next Star Wars trilogy. He is going to write and direct the next Star Wars trilogy.
I heard that too.
I will remind all of you that this is literally, and I'm not joking, I don't have them written down, but the 9th or 10th Star Wars film, if you count this trilogy as being 3 films, that has been announced that will not happen.
Correct.
So, The Mandalorian and Grogu is a Star Wars movie that they have finished filming and is going to happen. That is going to happen. But every other Star Wars movie you've heard is probably not going to happen or up in the air. Even the latest was the Rey movie, the New Jedi Order movie.
I heard that got canned.
They might retool it, but as of now, So I do not believe this at all. But the article is saying that it's going to be episode 10, 11, 12. Like they are going to continue the Skywalker saga somehow.
And we know Skeleton Crew's coming out soon. I wonder when we're going to get Andor.
There is a release date for Andor that's out there. So they talked about that, and I do not have it if you want to look it up. But I will say Skeleton Crew looks amazing.
It does look good.
I am so happy that we're going to get an Emblem Entertainment type of Star Wars show, because the idea of like the group of spunky kids who fall into an adventure is just kind of awesome.
So Andor Season 2 release date confirmed for April 22nd, 2025. And I got that from reddit.com.
That's perfect. And that, you know what they're going to do is it's going to be 12 episodes, and they're breaking them up into three episode story arcs. And so the first 3 episodes is going to be like a year, and the next 3 episodes is going to be like the following year. And it's going to lead all the way up to Rogue One. We're going to get Krennic back, Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I think Galen Erso will return as well, Mads Mikkelsen.
Cool.
That has not been announced. But we will have Alan Tudyk also as K2SO.
Very nice.
So,
very nice.
Andor Season 2, definitely excited about that.
Very, very excited for that, because Season 1 was like, it's seriously the best Star Wars series out there.
You know, I've heard people say that it is they're not counting, because they count Rogue One as and Andor together. So counting those 2 things together, the best thing Disney has done in Star Wars, period.
I can agree with that, other than Mandalorian is like so neck and neck.
Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons are so
Brilliant.
neck and neck.
Brilliant.
And then Season 3 I liked. It was just a step down from the other
It was,
ones. Yeah.
and I liked Book of Boba Fett, and that was basically a continuation. Like, there were so many people that watched, I remember when Season 3 came out.
It was like a side story of Mandalorian.
And I remember seeing people online complaining. They're like, wait a minute, what happened? How did he get Grogu back? Because they only watched Mandalorian Season 3 because Book of Boba Fett got bad reviews, so people didn't watch it.
Yeah, and that is, there's a big chunk of the Mandalorian story in that show.
Yep, so you have to watch it. If you truly want to watch all Mandalorian, you have to watch Book of Boba Fett. And I implore you, go into everything with an open mind, my friends.
Give it a chance. You might like it.
It was great. I love it.
And honestly, the Star Wars fandom tends to say, this sucks prematurely. Give it a shot and then decide for yourself if it sucks. So if you're a Star Wars fan, we got Skeleton Crew coming up.
Very cool.
We have Andor coming up.
Yep.
We have the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming up next.
Woo-woo.
And then apparently Timon K. Berg is going to sign on to do more Star Wars. Where's that Rian Johnson trilogy? That's all I'm saying. It's not going to happen.
Well, thank God. Rian Johnson's the one who screwed it up. Honestly, if they just let JJ do all 3 films, I don't think it would have gone off the rails.
True, but I would make an argument that if they had Rian Johnson do all 3 films, it wouldn't have gone off the rails either. The problem is there was no one navigating story and voice. They basically made 3 movies that were sequels to each other, not a cohesive trilogy.
And honestly, I still enjoy watching them for all their faults. They're still good for what they are. I enjoy it. Kylo Ren is the shit.
And with that, guys, we're going to end our show. Thank you so much for listening to Earthling Entertainment. If you enjoyed what you heard today, honestly, just download the episode on wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, doesn't matter. Make sure the episode is downloaded. It's the easiest way to support the show.
My friends, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share this podcast with a coworker, with a friend, with a loved one, with a fellow Earthling.
That's right. And if you want a Earthling Entertainment bumper sticker, just email earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Or hit us up on the Facebook. All you have to do is provide a name and address for us to mail it to you, and you will get a couple of free stickers.
That's right.
And this is quality merchandising, by the way.
Quality merchandising.
So, from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya.
Goodbye.